Good morning everyone. In this video I'm going to be analysing the live price action for EU and DXY to see what opportunities there may be today. You're going to see my strategy and my analysis, so if you're interested in those then please stick around. Right, on the daily chart, as always, on the top is EU, on the bottom is DXY. So what do we see on the daily? So if I just zoom in slightly, of course we've now pulled back from this discount POI. We're now around the equilibrium area. Our premium will be here. Let's just draw this leg out so you can see what I mean. So we're still in the discount of the daily leg. We had a doji close out yesterday after such a bullish day, and today we're starting off bullish. We have taken out the previous daily high already, so quite a bullish day through Asia into the London Open. Now inversely on DXY, we've obviously had a bearish day, and previous day was a doji as well. However, we're not yet taken that previous daily low, so there's some divergence there, and the daily fair value gap and imbalance isn't yet filled. So still in a discount, still in a premium. Price is obviously now showing that intention to pull back at least until this area or towards the premium, as we've been discussing over the last week or so. We're above our previous daily high. That liquidity is yet to cause, any bearish price action, but we'll see on the lower time frames what that looks like. Now, we did leave behind an imbalance back here on the daily. So if we do have some kind of pullback from this area, this might be somewhere that the higher time frame looks to target. So I'll just put that in there so we can see how that looks on the lower time frame. In saying that, let's go down to the 4 hour and see what that looks like. So on the 4 hour here, let's go over yesterday's story just a little bit. We had the bullish run on Tuesday, and then we pulled back into Wednesday, filled this 4 hour imbalance here, this POI. Once we filled that, that's when we went bullish again into today. So it filled this POI, and now we've made a new higher high. So that internal trend seems to be continuing. Now, just to point out, we have this SMC divergence, which I mentioned on the daily, right? We've just made a higher high on the 4 hour on EU, but we are yet to make that lower low on DXY. So that could show some DXY strength, at least for the short term. Of course, we do have that previous daily low really close by. We have our daily fair value gap on 4 hour order block and imbalance just below. So it would still be a draw on price. I still expect price to head into this area at some point, but this may show that intention for a pullback, right? Because here is that daily block that we just did on the higher time frame. That could be an area here, and it's right below the previous daily low, of course, for sell side liquidity. And we may pull back into this area, into this discount or equilibrium below this low, because as you can see, this is quite corrective. So there'll be some trend line liquidity here after taking that buy side liquidity. So SMC divergence, buy side liquidity above the previous daily high, and a 4 hour POI. That's a good build up of confluences to provide resistance at this area for some kind of pullback, you would imagine. Will it go as far as here? We don't know, but that's just a higher time frame imbalance that may be targeted. So again, mitigated the 4 hour POI, went bullish, created the higher high. Now there's a host of confluences here and buy side liquidity taken that may cause us to come back down to seek sell side liquidity. As you can see while we're talking, price looks to be having a bearish reaction from this area. So confirming pretty much what I'm saying. So let's go down to the 1 hour and see how this is all looking. Now just to point out again, this was a 1 hour order block. If we just show to the left, 1 hour order block has been spiked into and mitigated. Now of course price closed out with that sort of high test wick candle, and the next hourly candle has now opened up bearish. As I mentioned on a higher time frame, this is all corrective price action. There's no real momentum from here like these past candles. So it's like a build up of sell side liquidity below these lows, where the lower time frame is just making higher highs and higher lows very correctively. So this could all be targeted down to this daily imbalance. After taking previous daily high buy side liquidity, there's SMC divergence indicating some early weakness possibly, and we've got our 4 hour and 1 hour POIs. So we'll have to see how structure turns out around this area. We didn't take the previous daily low on DXY, of course, because there's SMC, but even if we do, so if price were to just continue bullish for the moment, we take the previous daily low, possibly go into the daily fair value gap on 4 hour order block. That's fine, because then now we have the sell side liquidity sponsorship from DXY, and then we can come for the trend line possibly if price decides to pull back to a discount and to this daily imbalance that it left behind. So I've been waiting for this confluence area to be targeted and be hit. So I think it is a good point of resistance, a good number of confluences there that we can expect to pull back from. So my bias will be looking for shorts. I don't want to buy into this area because it's more riskier. Also around this daily imbalance, before we move on, there is this 1 hour order block here which I had drawn out. Now price stopped just before that, it filled the 4 hour imbalance on the higher time frame, swept that sell side liquidity of the previous daily low I believe, and that's when it continued bullish all through the afternoon, evening and today. So could just be a coincidence where the order block is resting here unmitigated and we've got that daily imbalance. So again, a good price draw and target. If price does pull back, we may expect some reversal around this area, right, for us to continue with our new internal trend. So I don't want to forecast too far into the future, but that does look like a good point of support again if price chooses to take out this trend line. So enough of that, let's go down to the M15 and see what opportunities we have for today. So I think now we're on the lower time frames. That trend line I was talking about is much clearer. You can just see the lows that could be targeted now for price if we continue bearish. I like to wait for structure, of course. Someone may have set an order up here or joined in on the rejection to target somewhere, but I don't mind what price is doing now. Obviously there's lower time frame order blocks here. You can see them of course on DXY as well. Will these provide some support and resistance and price continue on its way? Possibly. So what I would want to see, because I don't want to buy from these areas after rejecting all of these confluences, that would be silly, is for price to create structure. I would like price to come back up from wherever it chooses to make its low. If it finds some support here, come back up, and then we break down. So once we break the low that's formed possibly around here, then I want that nice corrective pullback to our lower time frame imbalance or order block, preferably both, to continue that trend downwards to target this sell side liquidity trend line, right, towards our price draws of the daily and 1 hour order block. So this is what I would like to see. So let's annotate this. We would have our order block here. We would have our breaker structure around this area here. We've of course already taken the buy side liquidity, and we've got our SMC divergence, and we've got higher time frame POIs. So I don't need to point out the liquidity. We don't need to come up and sweep it again. Though if we were to, that would also be fine as long as we break off structure after. We have our inducement around this area from our possible pullback there, and then we'd have our order set here with stop loss just above the highs and target wherever you need to target. So that's exactly what I'll be waiting for. I want some structure to form either on the M5 or M15, possibly M5 at this point, and we'll see what happens. So we may see price perform that pullback after mitigating one of these areas here, but I'll be waiting for the breakdown because obviously we are in this bullish internal trend, so price could continue for all we know. But yeah, that's the main objective for me. That's what I would be looking for. Again, with buys, I don't see those immediately. For buys, high probability buys, I want that to be down here. So I want price to come down here, hold this area, create structure, break above its structure, then pull back down to our POI. So same as above, just down here, we would have our liquidity swept internally, possibly even these lows, we never know, but we've got liquidity sweep, break of structure, pull back, which would give us possible inducement where our lower time frame imbalance or order block would be. And you would just set your order, stop loss just below the low to trade with our possible new trend, internal trend, back up, right? So I think this liquidity trend line here looks great to target. And then I think once we're in this area, we've got the 1 hour POI, we've got the daily imbalance as well. We've even got this M15 order block here. and this low here would serve as inducement to this area. So yeah, I'm sure there'll be people setting their orders here. And yeah, I think that's the best opportunities we could hope for now. You may get continuations after this if you miss the move, because there is this whole trend line. So you could follow structure later on to also catch these shorts. So I hope that was clear. I hope that made sense and you got value from that. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.